welcome to Bucket List Homestead and Happy New Year. And today is the first day of the Pantry Challenge. And we've had a busy day. We actually made it to midnight, all of us, all four of us, made it to midnight last night to ring in the new year, and we were in bed not too long after. Like literally, Grace, I think, was in bed at like 12:03. So we made it, we saw the new year come in, and I have got such a great feeling for this year. Like, I'm excited for this year. Last year was rough. Not gonna lie, last year was rough. I've decided my word of the year is going to be purpose. Everything that I am going to do this year, I'm going to try my hardest to do it with purpose. And that means really focusing on certain aspects on the homestead. Sorry, we're getting snow here, so the sump pump is kicking in. Of course it is. It hasn't barely kicked in all day till I start filming. So yes, I want to approach everything with purpose this year. I'm also trying to let go of some expectations and realize that God has a plan and giving it to God better more. Trying to worry less, pray more, and give it to God this year. I really am. And some things might be changing in our future for this year. Still not 100% sure yet, so I will talk more about that when we know. Maybe the end of the month, next month, we'll know a little bit more. But I'm okay with it. I've come to accept it the last couple of weeks. If it's not going to go the way we hope, we're okay. I'm also going to take this year and get serious about my health. I turned 50 in November, and David is also going to take his health seriously. I think losing my dad at 75 in September last year really was a wake-up call. I do not want to be an unhealthy 75-year-old. If I am blessed to have grandchildren, I want to be a healthy nanny, Grammy, whatever I'm going to be called, for those grandbabies. I want to be able to, enjoy them and still enjoy my homestead. I don't want to be, I already have so many things going against me because of all my cancer battles that getting this weight off will help. And I do have a goal. I'm not going to put it out there. It's my goal, but I am going to be losing weight, or focusing on losing weight, and not just losing weight, but eating better. And that means cutting out a lot of sugar. We've ate a lot of sugar the last few months. I'm not gonna lie. My dad's passing really derailed our health train. David and I were doing really good. David was doing really good till he had his knee surgery. He had lost 40 pounds, and then knee surgery came, and it's just been hard. But he is determined to get back to it with me, so it always helps when we're both on the same page. Yeah, so cutting out sugar is going to be one of the main things this year. Why am I telling you all this? Because it helps keep me accountable, and I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone who struggles with their weight and their health. I have struggled, honestly, since I was 10. I thought I was big because so many people in my family made a big deal about my size, and I wasn't that big. I wasn't. I was healthy. I was a normal, healthy 10-year-old, but I did have certain family members who would make comments about my weight. But so I'm telling you all this to help keep me accountable, and if you all want to follow along. I have got my Fitbit on. I have an app that is challenging me to so many steps every day, and I'm determined. I'm not going to do it this week. I'm going to ease into it next week. David still has off for a few more days, so doesn't Aiden, so life is still kind of topsy-turvy. But I have a challenge where I have to do a certain amount of exercise every week. Now, I do have issues because I said some of my issues from cancer have made exercising hard. I'm just going to be walking. I'm just going to be doing some walking on a couple of the YouTube videos that I used to do when I lost 50 pounds a couple years ago, and I've gained some of it back. I'm going to do that. So nothing crazy, and when the weather is nicer, I hope to walk outside. Okay, so today started, I didn't share my breakfast and my lunch because one, my oven's heating up. For one, I didn't have breakfast, I just had a cup of tea. I am also going to be starting fasting, so that means I'll be cutting off all food, drink, everything at 6 p.m. tonight. And then I fast for 16 hours. I'm gonna ease into it. We'll see how tomorrow goes, and then I have to ease back into it. But 16 hours seems to work for me. I was losing weight with 16 hours of fasting, so I'm going back to that. But yeah, so I didn't really have breakfast this morning. Lunch was just having some leftovers from New Year's Eve. and we reset the house. Well, we're starting to reset the house. It's still a mess. And like I said, Grace and I pretty much know it's going to stay this way until the boys are back to their routine, and then we can tackle some things. But we did take down the tree. I had wrapping paper, tissue paper everywhere. We put the village away. We left the tree up till last night, and we did have it lit last night. We took everything down in the kitchen just a few days after Christmas. You know, my laundry hanging there. I gotta get caught up on laundry. I am so far behind on laundry. So yeah, it's the house is de-Christmasified. It definitely needs some organization, some cleaning, and yeah, you want to see my kitchen table? That's my pantry stuff that I am still trying to go through with my kitchen table, all my dehydrating and just trying to organize it. That's going to be an all-week thing. It really is. It's not going to happen today. For supper tonight, we are going to have what we always have every New Year's Day, because my grandmother always says it was good luck to start the new year with this. We are going to be having prime rib. So we have this beautiful prime rib that I picked up from our beef, when we got our beef order in November. It is beautiful, and it's just under 4 pounds. So we like ours around medium-ish, so I'm gonna cook this roughly for 40 minutes a pound, so we're gonna be cooking this a couple of hours. So I've had it out sitting for about 2 hours to come up to room temperature, and I am going to add so these are the things we're using from our pantry besides the prime rib. I have 4 big cloves of garlic that I grew going in here. I also have an onion that I need to cut up. But these are onions I grew this year. I'm very excited, and I am happy they're not too big because David's not a huge onion lover. So to have these, you know, be smaller works out perfect for us. So definitely planning on growing more of these this year. I'm chopping up that onion with this gorgeous knife set from Picklehauss. I'd like to share with you some little information about this company and this knife set, and I want to thank them, Picklehauss, for sponsoring today's video. I am always looking for good quality knives that won't require me donating a kidney to pay for them. So when Picklehauss had reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in testing their knife set, I said yes. Picklehauss is a brand of high-quality German knives with a unique magnetic holder. The knives are made from the finest materials and are precision crafted to perfection. The first thing that impressed me about these knives was how comfortable they were to hold, and then how little effort I had to use to actually cut through the top and bottom of these pineapple and the peeling. I have to use very little effort at all, which is very important to me as I do have some strength issues with my hands, and I cannot be holding a knife really tight and trying to hack my way through something. These knives were unbelievably comfortable and very sharp and work amazing. Picklehauss knife block set is actually inspired by the concept of a kangaroo mother's pouch, featuring a detachable knife block and groove for ultimate convenience. Whether you store them in a drawer or other spaces, it's designed to save space while maintaining functionality. These are not only the most beautiful knives I have owned, but the quality is tremendous. I will share in the description below and as a pinned comment the link to these fantastic knives. Last thing I'm going to add from my pantry is my freeze-dried beef broth that I freeze-dried just about a week or so ago. This is crazy how fluffy it is. I'm going to add 3 good-sized teaspoons to some water, and we'll see how that goes. It's my first time using freeze-dried beef broth, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to need. So I've just added 1 cup of water, and oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And it's already dissolved. And just going by the color, I'd say it's pretty perfect. I'm just going to taste it a little bit. It needs more. There's not enough flavor there. I'm going to do 2 more heaping teaspoons. That's better. Okay. Just gonna add that to the Dutch oven. I do prefer using my Dutch oven for my prime rib, but you can certainly do this in a crock pot or just a normal casserole dish or pan, whatever you have. And we have to add some salt. Okay, so it's about 2:30 here. I'm getting this in just a few minutes later. I got caught up in doing some cleaning, and I'm gonna cover it for the first hour or so and then take it off. And this is gonna take us up until about 4:30, 5 o'clock, which is perfect for supper. So we're gonna get this in the oven. How many of you do this? I washed this pan last night after we had our New Year's Eve celebration food, and it was still wet, so I put it in the oven to dry, and I completely forget to take them out every time. Please tell me I'm not the only one. I let it rest for, about 20 minutes before I started slicing it, and it was still a tad bit too pink for us, so I just sliced it up and threw it back in the Dutch oven with the jus from the juices, and it was amazing. And we had mashed potatoes from the pantry. These are part of the 50-pound bag of Kennebucks I got in the fall, and a can of corn that we canned this summer. For supper tonight, it's going to be another simple meal, but one of our favorites. The first week of Pantry Challenge is usually fairly simple because, we're easing into it. And the meals are a little bit simpler because, we just had the holidays. So we're having baked haddock and French fries. Grace and I are actually going to have homemade sweet potato fries, and I'm going to cook them in the air fryer. If you haven't tried this, it's amazing. They cook fast. They're so tasty. David is going to have regular shoestring French fries, which we just discovered because I didn't get all my inventory done, and this is why it's important. Not that it would have mattered, because I wouldn't have rushed out and bought a whole bunch of frozen French fries. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is we're down to our last bag of frozen French fries. I wouldn't have gone out and bought a whole bunch because the whole point of the Pantry Challenge is use what you have. You don't stock up, spend money, just to not spend money for 1 month or 2 months, whatever. So we do like French fries in this house, particularly poutine. David and I really like poutine. And I'll be making a lot of homemade French fries probably going on into the next month or two. Maybe not that much. We don't have a lot of potatoes left. And Dave and I are trying to eat a little less carbs. I say that, and he's having French fries tonight, but that's okay. So, like I said, we're going to do homemade sweet potato fries in the air fryer. And I've just peeled 2 smallish sweet potatoes, and I'm going to run them through my French fry cutter. And then I'm just going to add some sunflower oil and let them sit in oil for 10 minutes. I've got my haddock all thawed out because it was frozen. I've got it all thawed out, and I have it sitting on some paper towel, just trying to get as much of the moisture out as I can. A lot of the moisture came out, so that's great. Pretty simple with how I make my baked haddock, because if I do anything fancy, Grace and David get very unhappy. They don't like it fancy, they just like it. I tried adding herbs and lemon and one time, they didn't go over well at all. So all I do is we just sprinkle with a little bit of Himalayan pink sea salt. And I spray it with a little bit of oil. Just a little bit, not too crazy. And that's it. Bake at 400 Fahrenheit for anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how thick these fish are. But I'm gonna wait just a couple more minutes because we still have a couple minutes for the sweet potatoes. They take about 20 minutes-ish in the air fryer, depending on how you like them done. Grace and I like them crispy. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be yummy, yummy supper. Day 3 with a little bit of breakfast. Today is David's official day last day off. Sorry, it's early, as you could probably tell by my appearance and my voice. It's his last day off, official. It's the weekend tomorrow, but he has weekends off anyway. So he is, it's his last day off before he heads back to work for on Monday from Christmas break. So I thought, okay, let's make some fun breakfast. And pancakes are a pain. They are, sitting there flipping them. Everybody eats long before I do, which is not that big a deal, but they're a lot of work. I'm gonna make a Dutch baby. Dave and I love them. They're easier than pancakes. Everything's gonna go into the blender to make it that much simpler. You don't need a mixer or anything. And they're delicious. I love them. I also like this recipe because it's gonna use up some things in my pantry. We're gonna try the blueberry syrup that we made and canned during the Every Bit Counts challenge, so I'm anxious to try this. I'm gonna get that heating up on the stove. I do have my oven preheated to 475 degrees. We're gonna put a 10-inch cast iron skillet into the oven here in just a minute, and that's gonna heat up while we actually make the Dutch baby. Another reason I like this recipe, it's gonna use a lot of eggs, which is a good thing because we have a bit of a problem. It's a good problem. Our girls finally started laying about 2 weeks ago. So we're getting like 5 eggs a day right now. It's a good problem to have. I'm happy because, man, I did not like buying eggs. Did not care for that at all. So we're gonna use 4 eggs in this recipe. I'm gonna be using some flour because I have a lot of already, it's organic, but it's pre-milled. I have a lot still to get through. That being said, I am going to be trying some bread this weekend with my mill, and we're going to try that out, milling some red white berries. Is that what they're called? I can't remember now. We're going to do that, and it says in the beginning to mix it with like half and half. Do half milled and half already milled flour that you have. So we're going to try that. So hopefully I'll be able to get it because we have a lot of the flour still in the freezer. We still have a lot of that, and I'm gonna use it. But yeah, we have a lot. So I'm gonna go throw the skillet in the oven, and we're gonna get started on making the ingredients for, or putting all together, the Dutch baby. I told you it's early. 1 cup of flour, 4 eggs, cup of milk. I can get this in here without spilling it. Yay! A little bit of cinnamon. And here you can add whatever sweetener you want. I'm going to add just about a tablespoon, not even, about a half a tablespoon of maple syrup. And we're going to blend it up. Okay, we're going to get our hot skillet out of the oven. We're going to add a few tablespoons or so of, I'm using unsalted butter. It's just melted. We're going to pour our batter right in. Looks like I could have mixed up a little better. That's disappointing. Use that knife I had. We're We're going to lower the temperature to 425 and bake for about 12 minutes. Alright, so while that's in the oven, we are going to pop open a jar of our blueberry syrup. Get that heating up. And I am going to taste it. Oh, that's good. I didn't add a lot of sugar. I'm trying to remember. I think I added maple syrup actually when I made this. Oh, that's yummy. Okay, we're just going to heat that up and wait for the Dutch baby to come out of the oven. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened because this did not turn out the way it usually looks, of course, because, you know, I'm filming it all for you. Hopefully it still tastes the same. I'm just checking to see. I'm actually going to put that back in for another 2 minutes. Okay, it still looks weird, but it's definitely more cooked now. I used a double recipe, which shouldn't have been a problem, but I'm thinking maybe it was, or it didn't mix as well, because it did not mix well in that blender. Kind of ticked off, but we're going to slide her out anyway. She looks strange. I'm not going to lie. Hopefully she tastes good. Isn't this pizza cutter cute? David got it for me. It was in my stocking for Christmas, and I love it. I can't believe how something so silly is so amazing, but it makes sense to hold a pizza cutter this way when you're cutting. You have more control. Look at that. I absolutely love it. Okay, we're sliding off. There we go. All right. Yeah, she's cooked. And we're going to try it with some of the blueberry syrup. And let's see how she tastes. Smells good. Oh. That blueberry syrup is delicious. Definitely will be canning more of that. It's yummy. She tastes like a Dutch baby. May not look like one, but it's delicious. See you back here tonight for supper. We are going to start supper. It's a few hours away, but I'm making pizza tonight, and I have shared this many times. I'm going to share it again. I know I've shared my pizza recipe several times in several videos, because especially the pantry challenge, because typically every Friday night is pizza night here. Sometimes we switch it up and put it on Sunday, but for the most part we have it pretty much once a week. And I want to share it because I have gained a lot of new subscribers just in the last few days. So I wanted to share it with them. So I just wanted to take a few seconds and thank you for clicking on one of my videos and subscribing. I cannot tell you how much it means to me, and I'm so excited. I am really determined to grow my channel and work even harder at it this year. That's one of my goals. So it's already paying off, and we're only 3 days into the month. So thank you so much. But I am warning you, you will never get takeout again if you start making this pizza at home. I'm so excited because I'm going to get this started early so it can rise, because Dave and I are going to head out, and we're finally going to go get wood to put the doors down on my kitchen cabinets. I've been waiting months for this. I am so tired of the dishes getting, like, you know, they get dusty and dirty because they're on the bottom, for one. Dogs running by and everything. And I don't want to see all my clutter, all my dishes down there in the bottom. Those are the cabinets I'm talking about. So I'll be so excited to get the doors on them. And we're also going to be replacing the doors in back of me. The front, this is a fake drawer. We're going to replace the front of that one, the front of the, we're not replacing them, I'm actually painting them. sorry, but we are replacing the doors down here just so they all look the same. Those aren't real wood doors, and they are not holding up all that great at all. They were here when we moved in. I did paint them just to try to make them look better the last few years, but yeah, we're finally gonna go do that. I'm so excited. And the best news is we're paying for these by selling our old tires that came with our Explorer that we bought last in the fall after Aiden had that accident and our Jeep got totaled. We had to get a new vehicle. We ended up getting an Explorer, which I am loving. I love this thing. And David wanted to put all season or 4-season, David? 4-season tires, which is what's on my car. It's what's on Aiden's car. We live in Canada. We have a lot of snow sometimes, or even just slippery roads. They work amazing. And what's great is you don't have to take them off in the spring, and they still count as winter tires on our insurance. So anyway, he wanted to get those put on the Explorer, and our mechanic, who we really like, he's a great guy. He said, you know, these aren't in bad shape at all. They're not that old. He said you should try and sell them. So that's what we did. David sold them today. So, and it's going to pay for the wood for our kitchen cabinet. So woohoo, I'm so excited. So we're going to get going on the pizza. So I did take out some shredded mozzarella cheese out of the freezer, some honey, I think this is honey garlic, or it might be maple. I can't remember. Honey garlic sausage. I cooked up a bunch of it and then individually portioned it for pizza. We usually use it for pizza. And these are still frozen, and I took out some peppers from the freezer. So those will be our toppings tonight. So a few minutes ago, I put a teaspoon of yeast in 1.5 cups of warm water, and we've just been letting that dissolve. And we're gonna put 4 cups of flour, a 1/3 cup of olive oil, and our yeast. Okay, you just want to mix that until there's nothing on the bottom and it's all come together. And it's gonna be sticky, and that's what you want. So I'm gonna take this off, actually. So yeah, it's gonna be sticky. Try and make it into a ball. We're gonna put a little bit of oil in the bottom, cover it, and let this rest. We are back. We found some gorgeous wood boards that David's going to turn into some beautiful doors. I cannot wait. And we are going to get the pizza sauce going. So in here so far, all I have is just 1 can of the organic tomato paste. Yeah, I buy my tomato paste. It takes way too many tomatoes to make enough tomato paste for us. I go through a can of this probably about every 2 weeks. I used to go through it a week, but now with just one of us eating, 2 of us rather, eating the pizza, this does a couple of pizzas, this recipe, so I just freeze the rest. So I like to get this at Costco. It's the best price and it's organic. So this is a 156 milliliter little can. And then I don't measure anything. I just, till I taste what I like. Now this is basil and oregano mixed. I'd love to tell you I did this on purpose, but I didn't. I didn't realize I put my basil in with the oregano when I was trying to go through my pantry here the other day. So it's now gonna be just for pizza, or whenever I need anything that requires basil and oregano. I'd say it's probably about equal parts if I remember how much oregano was in here. So I'm gonna do a teaspoon. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Classic, trying to do too many things. And we got a couple of oregano sticks in there, I think. So we're gonna give that a stir. And I like to simmer this for like 20 minutes. We're gonna put it on low. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And I add just a little bit of honey to kind of cut through the acidity of the tomatoes. That should be enough. We'll let this simmer for about 5 minutes, and then I'll taste it and see if I need to add any more oregano, basil, and salt or honey. I have my oven on 500 degrees, and we're gonna put the cast iron pan. Actually, I'm gonna lower my rack first. So I'm gonna put my large 12-inch cast iron pan in the oven and let it just go in there and stay hot. Okay, we're ready to start making the actual pizza, so I'm gonna dump that out. And yes, I do like to weigh it because I forgot to mention this actually makes 2 pizzas, so I always freeze one because Dave and I only need one. So I'm gonna weigh it so I can divide it in half equally. Bugging me. There we go, perfect. So this one I am going to wrap in plastic wrap, get it in a Ziploc bag, and we will freeze this one for next week. Okay, we're just gonna roll it to the size we need. Normally I do make this the day before because I like it to ferment, so it's a little bit easier to digest. But I lost track. I just forgot yesterday was Thursday. Oh, we're still in that in-between time. And this morning, I mentioned I made breakfast because I thought it was David's last day off, but I forgot he actually had a couple extra days he had to take or lose them. So he actually doesn't go back to work until the 9th, I think it is. He has off till the 8th. So that's fine. That means we can get our cabinet doors done, maybe. It is time to take out the very hot cast iron. So we're going to take this out very carefully. Ooh, she is hot. It's been in here for over 20-30 minutes. Hopefully you can't hear that music. Out there, David's out finishing up his workout. So we're just going to dribble in about a tablespoon or so. Bring the pizza dough over. Get this going. I think I did okay with size. Sometimes I make it too big, but I think I did good. Make a little bit of a crust without burning myself. Okay, and then we're going to add some of our pizza sauce. Then we add our cheese. I try to freeze these, primarily mozzarella cheese for pizza is usually what we're using it for. So I try to freeze it in the amount we're going to need for a pizza. So I think I did pretty good there. And then our sausage that we took out. Oh, this is going to be so yummy. And I am hungry. I didn't really eat lunch today. And then some of my beautiful peppers from the garden. I actually have a bunch of peppers right now in the freeze dryer going. You might be hearing that a little bit too. I'm not sure if that picks up or not. Okay, and into the oven. In our oven, depending on how you like it, we usually cook it around 12 minutes with this many toppings. Isn't that beautiful? And it smells incredible. So I just let it sit for a few minutes before we cut it, just like any other pizza. And whew, I am so looking forward to supper. I am so hungry. Okay friends, we are gonna go eat supper, but I have a question to ask you. Are you team bubble or no bubble? I don't know why, but I always love to get the pieces with the bubble on them. Yum. So I've decided every Saturday is going to be breakfast for supper night. In the past we've done it midweek, but we've decided weekends makes more sense, especially Saturdays. And I was gonna make something different for supper tonight, for breakfast for supper. But David and I were watching a cooking show last night, and they were making these amazing looking dishes. They were doing breakfast, and David's like, wow, really thick French toast and bacon sounds good. And I'm like, well, that's what we'll do tomorrow night. He's like, I'm like, no problem. And I have this gorgeous loaf of sourdough bread that I made a month ago that's been in the freezer. So we can slice that up. Not only does it come out of my freezer, it's going to make for delicious French toast tonight. I've got bacon cooking in the oven. And by the way, this just a little teeny rant. When I used to cook bacon in the oven, it took me, I'd have to do it 2 rounds to cook it all up on my giant cookie sheet. I got every single piece on one cookie sheet with room left over for more bacon if I had it. So packages have gotten smaller, but they've gotten even smaller. Okay, we're gonna slice this up, serve it up with some maple syrup, and yeah, I am looking forward to having French toast for supper. Ever since David talked about it last night, it sounded good. And for a little dessert tonight, a little treat, we're gonna cook up these sweet Laurens. These were also in the freezer. I found them when I started doing a little bit of cleaning. My pantry, I still don't want to talk about it. It's still a work in progress. It's still being cleaned. But I did go through the freezer. I found a couple surprises, and this was one of them. So we're just gonna, these are really good. They're gluten-free, nothing artificial. You can even eat these raw, which Grace loves. They're delicious. You never know they're a gluten-free brownie. So we're gonna bake those up after the bacon comes out. So for supper tonight, I had to start yesterday. So we decided to do spaghetti for supper. We have not had spaghetti in a while, and as I said, I started it last night. First, I sprayed my crock pot, and then I put in a jar of homegrown tomato sauce, home canned tomato sauce, a can of tomato paste, a can of diced tomatoes, 1 medium onion cut up. I'm not too worried about it being too big because I am going to immersion blend this later. About a tablespoon of honey, minced garlic, which came from the freezer, probably about 4 tablespoons, and a heaping teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I cover and set it to low. And then this morning I came down and I immersion blended it all up. So David's not a fan of hunks of tomato, and he hates onions. So I immersion blended it all up. And then I got my mild Italian sausage out of the fridge. I thawed that out yesterday and cut it all up. And I left some in a little bit bigger chunks, and some I just used like ground beef. And it's been cooking all day. All day, half the day yesterday and all day today. It smells amazing. I actually turned it off completely. Spraying the pot off did not help because I still have that burnt edge. I should have used a liner, but I wasn't sure about a liner with such a liquidy substance in there. So anyway, we got that, and I got so much out of my freezer. I got a pack of the sausage out of my freezer, and I got some garlic out of the freezer, and I used some cans that were on our pantry. So only a few days in, and we are doing great using things from our pantries and our freezer. And I wanted to make Italian bread to turn into garlic bread, but I have been busy all day, and I'll show you what I've been busy doing. Now, it is not done, but I've been working at this for days, and it seems like I'm never going to get done. That's what I mean. It's not done. I definitely need to go through. It's so many tea blends and everything that I'm trying to put into different containers and get my glass jars back for canning. So I still have to get through that, but my table is cleared off. Oops, sorry for the laundry. My table is finally cleared off. That has been full of everything for days. And I found some great things for this week's meal plan, which I still need to do. But yeah, it's getting there. So I thought, okay, no big deal. We just won't have garlic bread. But cleaning the pantry, I found this Irish potato bread mix that I received in one of my Ireland boxes a couple months ago. So we're gonna cook this up for our bread to go with our spaghetti. Just following the directions on the bag. It's gonna be simple, which is really nice. So that's just our mix. And I needed to, while I was chatting with you, I melted 120 milliliters of water and 20 grams of butter, and I brought it to a boil. And then it says to add to the dry mixture. Stir with a spoon, and then we're gonna let it sit for a minute. And I'm sure that's to get the potatoes incorporated. Okay, my battery died, so I'm not sure where it left off, but this has been sitting for a minute, and now it's telling me to take it out and knead it. I have some flour here, but I'm hoping it doesn't say a floured surface. It just says your work surface. So knead until all dry ingredients are incorporated into the dough. And then I got to cover it with cling film. I assume they mean saran wrap. Plastic wrap. Cover with the cling film and rest in the fridge for 30 minutes. Okay. nights like this when I am so happy I can. It has been a crazy day here. We started off thinking we would get finishing painting. I have a little bit of painting left. I don't know if we're going to see it here. There we go. There's a couple little small sections. If you see that god-awful brown, that's what used to be in this kitchen. We took down the boards that we put up when we first moved in just to kind of do something fast to make the kitchen look better. And I took them all down, and I have 1, 2, 3 little sections left to paint, and we are not doing any more renos to the kitchen. Is 100% done. We've got the wood for our cabinet doors, and David started cutting them out today. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna get everything. All the holes are filled and sanded. I taped off the trim so I won't get paint on it. I put down paper and taped the paper over where I'm going to be painting so I don't get any paint on our new floors. Our paint froze. Somehow we left it in the part of the garage that's not heated. Did not know that. I thought we had it in our crawl space with the rest of our paint. It wasn't a big can, so it must have gotten lost, and it is ruined. Like, I cannot use it. But I end up saying, okay, I reset my living room today. I deep cleaned that, friends, like you wouldn't believe. I decluttered. I got a whole bunch of stuff going to donations. It looks amazing. It looks so clean. I just did a teeny bit rearranging, nothing major. It feels so good to have it done. So I've been busy today. Basically, I'm telling you all this because we were busy. David was busy. He did a lot of small projects that needed to be done. Plus, he started cutting the doors. We are going to run out and get the paint this evening because I don't want to be wasting 2 hours tomorrow getting the paint, and then that's 2 hours. I really could have had the painting done. It's not going to take long. It's just literally a couple little sections. So this is why I'm so happy I can, because tonight we're going to do Sloppy Joes that I canned up I think either last January or March Madness. I can't remember which. This makes crazy nights so much easier to have a nice healthy meal. Quick, filling, and Sloppy Joes are one of David's favorites. It's become one of my favorites to can. Also, this will replace that other stuff you buy, the Manwich. This is so much better. I will link somewhere here or down in the description or somewhere if I remember. If not, please let me know in the comments that I didn't share it when I made these. I know I did a video on them. And I also had hamburger buns that I found in the freezer when we were making room for the trays for the freeze dryer. So all we have to do is heat this up in the frying pan. I'm just going to heat it up, all of it, dump it all in, warm it up, get our buns ready. And David said that's all he wants. He doesn't want any sides, which I'm happy with. We're going to find this more than filling than, we don't need any other sides. And we're kind of sick of like potatoes and stuff. And then we're going to head to the store and get paint. And this will wrap up the first 6 days of Pantry Challenge.